I wasn't nervous till she said 3, 2, 1.
Well, I was nervous when she said yes.
Well, don't look at me.
Sweetie. Y'all, as you can see, we are not in our normal studio.
Set up.
We are in sunny Los Angeles, and this is personal to me because I'm not a big fan I don't fan out for a lot of people.
Megan doesn't care about nobody. We walked by Beyonce. I'm like, she's like, girl, come on. I'm like, we gotta ask for a picture or something.
Like there are just certain people that, impact you in a real way.
Like your heart, impact your heart, yeah.
Like a real impact.
Yeah.
Our guest today, there's so many things.
I can't stop smiling at you because I know you're really nervous.
Excited. It's like this is somebody who I look up to. As a woman.
Yeah.
As a wife, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as a woman of God,
a positive impact,
positive
leader,
person,
on socials. Yeah.
And so I'm just. You wanna tell everyone who we have?
So we have Miss Tabitha Brown.
Miss Tabitha Brown.
We're so excited.
I mean, this is like having Oprah.
This is
this is
for our generation.
For our generation,
like
real. Literally, this feels
real.
like it's that important.
Yeah. We
for
love
me,
it.
I'm like, this is like.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Y'all. I love y'all.
We love you so much, and we're so excited that you said yes to us. It's like little old us.
Right. I was like, do she even know me? And I was like, oh, she follow me. I gotta stop cussing.
I do.
I was like, I ain't gonna cuss no more.
You gonna be on your best behavior.
We're gonna be on our best behavior.
That's how I felt when E.T. started following me. I was like, ugh.
Accountability.
But we follow you because you're true to who you are.
Yeah, thank you. We saw Tab at the 360 Man Conference in Atlanta.
Yeah, I had to leave right before
she went on.
because my son had a baseball game, and so I had to go.
Megan don't play. Megan is a mother first.
I would have left too.
And we had just got back in town literally that day, morning.
Yeah. We landed and went straight there.
And they were running kind of behind. I was like, gosh, I'm gonna miss her. Miss her. And I text Shekinah was with B, and I text both of them, and I was like, if y'all talk to Tab, tell her I love her. And
the first thing I do when I go backstage, I go say hi to Toby and Fat. I love them so much. I saw Tab talking. I was like, I'm just gonna keep walking. She's talking, and I am not interrupting that conversation.
Well, I would have been like, girl, where you going?
God didn't tell me to do that.
But I be so focused on whoever I'm talking to.
Good.
I didn't even see
you. You were so into the conversation.
Yeah.
So, I DM'd her, I messaged her. Megan's like, you think she'll come on the pod? And it was so effortless. She was like, yeah, just let me know when you're in town. I'm like, do I give her my number?
No, I was like, does she have a writer? I was like, do we need to get, who do we need to get involved? Like, this is a big deal.
Yeah. So, and we treat every guest with respect and love. We always have, food, and we ask what they need and for everything. But this was just really, really big for us.
You know how you have like a respect for people, you always treat people but there are certain people that I have like a reverence for,
and they demand that. Your presence demands that respect and that well,
and she leads with I feel like you lead with love, so it's like it's hard to not walk in that same energy around you.
Because the intention, right? So that it transfers and people feel it and they want to feel it. So, and they want to spread it as well. That's the intention every day.
Man, so I'll say how I got introduced to Tab. I don't know how you got introduced, but I remember it was during the pandemic, and your carrot bacon.
A lot of people found me that way.
Went viral.
You went viral,
It went viral.
I saw it on TikTok.
I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I went to your page on Instagram, and when I tell you I binge watched every video, everything you did, I just binge watched, and found myself the next day going back watching the same video. I would call my mom, and I'm like, have you heard of this lady Tabitha Brown? Yeah. She said, oh, I've been watching. I know, I've been.
My mamas had been with me. Mama and grandma and them, y'all like, you late.
She told me, she was like, you late. Yeah. And I'm like, what? She was like, oh yeah, that's my girl.
Bacon right now.
She was like, that's my girl. She talked about you like that was your friend. Yeah. She was your friend for years. She's like, oh, Tab. Yeah. Yeah, I know Tab.
Like, girl, don't call her Tab.
Yeah.
You don't know her.
Yeah. She was like, oh yeah, Tab and Donda. Tab and Donda. I know them. Yeah. I was like, she was like, put you guys as a pair, and I remember every time you would come up with a video, me and Mom would be on the phone talking about for hours based off of one video that you did. We would have so much, that came from that. So what was that like for you? Because I feel like like you said, a lot of people found you from that video.
Yeah. I had been doing videos for 2 years, right? I had started in August of 2017. And then my first video that went viral was the TTLA sandwich when I was driving Uber, sitting in my car. And that was it was December 30th of 2017. Wow. And then it started going viral like New Year's Day. Like it just went crazy. I mean, the whole weekend. Wow. And that's when my page and everything took off on Facebook. I had already been cooking live every day, but nobody was watching. And so that is what created like this whole new fan base.
Y'all hear that, y'all? Consistency. So, even though nobody was watching, she was still doing it.
Every day for 2 years.
Wow.
Right?
Every day.
And I did it like it was a job. I was like, you know what? At 5 o'clock, I got to go live because the people waiting on me.
Good for you.
And I wasn't making no money, right? Wow. I was just being consistent when I first started.
And you loved it.
And I loved it. And I also, in the beginning, I didn't love it. I did it because I was being obedient, right? So it had nothing to do with me. I was doing what God told me to do. I didn't know why I was doing videos, right? And so when I got on TikTok, I had like 500,000 followers on Facebook, and I had 200,000 on Instagram. And I had been touring the country and doing all these like vegan fasts. And I'm a trained actress, but I hadn't been doing any acting, since before when I was sick. And my daughter was like, Mama, you need to get on TikTok. And I was like, girl, I don't need to get on TikTok. Girl, what am I gonna get on there
What
for?
am I doing on TikTok?
With them kids dancing. I can't do nothing on the, over there. And she was like, no, you could, be like a TikTok mom. I was like, a TikTok mom? Girl, what is that? And so when she kept pushing me to do it, I was like, all right, let me just see. You only had a minute on there at that time. I was like, can I do a recipe? Like in a minute? She was like, you do a recipe. You can do your inspirational videos, choices, at this time she's like, 17 or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, okay, let me see. And so I get on it, and that first week, my videos went viral. And I was like, well, I guess the kids like me on here. Wow. But when I started to read the comments, I was like, oh, wait.
There's more.
They need something.
They need
it. They were saying, her voice feels like a warm hug, or, she feels like the mother I wish I had, or an auntie, or a sister, or a friend. And so then it became a responsibility to me.
Come on.
And so I consistently did it. Now we're in the pandemic, right? And so I did it every day during the pandemic. I would make 1 or 2 videos, one maybe inspirational, one cooking. And I would never do, and still to this day, I never do an inspirational video or anything from my heart that is not true. Okay. Right? I don't do it just to do it. It has to hit me.
You have to feel it.
I have to feel it. And it's personal, right? It is intentional, it's personal, and it's obedience. And when I hear things like, your mama say, that's Tab and Donna, that means I have built the relationship that I intended to do. Yeah. Whenever I do videos, I still do, I hold my phone very close to my face. Because I want people to feel like I'm only talking to you.
I know. I feel like you hold in my face. No, she's like, baby, come here. I'm like,
it's just, I'm your friend in this moment, or your sister, or whatever you need. And so it just feels right. It feels like I'm living in purpose.
I love that.
So that's how it feels to me.
Yeah. That's how I feel with my comedy videos. Like when I stop doing rants, we're like, go do rants or do this. I'm like, well, I don't feel it. I don't just do it just to talk. I want to exude what I'm feeling in that moment. And you used to get on me like, you got to post. I'm like, I'm not feeling nothing today. Like if I don't feel it, I try not to jump in front of the camera so it's organic, and I love that about your page. You can tell you feel it. Yeah. You can tell.
And it does feel very personal. Even in the delivery, how you articulate it, it is like you say, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? You doing all right? And I'll be answering.
I'll be like,
I'm not.
So come on, keep talking now.
I am sad today.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
I am not feeling it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it does feel very, you know, like you said, personal. And for me, you were the auntie in my head. I'm like, that's Untab. You know, for me, every time I would see, I'm like, that's Untab. That's Untab. And I would get something from every video, whether it was comical or a recipe motivational, like hope. I walked away with something, even in that quick 30 seconds. I walked away with hope. You know what I'm saying? I walked away with the idea that it can be better. Yeah. And, or it's okay that it's not okay right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
It's okay.
You know what I mean? And I think it's a big thing to feel acknowledged and seen, and I feel like that's a big thing in our generation is
not feeling alone.
And I feel like during the pandemic that was hard.
Absolutely. Everybody found themselves in a new situation, right, at the same time.
A different situation.
And a lot of people were single and had to, you know, quarantine alone. And there were many days that those were the people that were on my mind. And a lot of people were in a house full of people and they were alone.
Yep.
Still.
They were on my mind.
Still.
Right? And that's the worst kind of loneliness.
Man.
When you're in a room full of people
and
you can't be seen or heard,
you
right?
still feel alone.
Absolutely. And a lot of times, you know, people didn't realize until the pandemic happened that they were going to work to escape the truth. And then they got forced into settling in it. Yeah. And it was uncomfortable. Yeah. And a lot of people did not survive it. Yeah. Right? A lot of relationships did not survive it. And so I was thinking about people every day and what they were going through. I'm blessed to really, really like my husband, right? You know, I always tell people, right? I always tell people we love by default because we have a heart. That's what we were created to do. That's why I can love you without even knowing you. Right. I don't know if I like you.
Sometimes I can love you without liking you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I really like my husband. There are days, and then there have been days I didn't. Right? And there will be days to come that I don't.
Right.
But I love him.
Because I know that. She's like, I know that man. He's going to get on my nerves one of these days.
We're going to tell the truth. That's the truth.
That's right.
And vice versa. Right? I've been with my husband 24 years. I know how it goes.
Right.
Wow.
But there are people who still don't get that and don't know that, but also were discovering that for the first time. Yeah. That they were in a relationship with someone who they really didn't like.
And we want to talk about relationships with you, but you said something. You said when you were sick. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I didn't know. Did you go through a stage of?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Honey. So I got sick in 2016.
Okay.
January of 2016, I woke up with this headache in the back of my head.
Okay.
And I had a car accident when I was in high school, so I always have like you know how you have neck problems and all that stuff. And sometimes I would have a little headache, and I thought, oh, I'm having an episode, you know. But this headache went into the back of my head, and it rested there for a year and 7 months, every day. And so I also had chronic fatigue because of it. And then chronic pain started to go throughout my body. I would fall when I would walk. I lost my vision for a day. I went through all of this for a year and a half with no answers from the doctor.
Okay.
I would take every drug they offered me. I was a guinea pig. I was desperate. Then I fell into depression because they can't tell me what's wrong with me, and I know something is wrong with me.
You know,
right?
You know your body.
And I was having manic panic attacks, which is like 50 a day sometimes, right? I would just lose my breath. I could not think. I could not talk sometimes, right? I just could not get well. Wow. And I had really thought that God forgot about me. And I would think he brought me this far just to leave me here. Because I thought I was like entering into this place in my career. You know, I've been out here for a long time in LA and acting, and I had started to do stand-up.
What?
Absolutely. I started
Come
doing
open for me, girl. I mean, you come on my tours, I'm going to open for you. I'm going to give you 45, I'll just do 10. They going to think they coming to see me. I'll be like, yeah, I get the grand opener.
Honey.
Tab going to do 45.
I was doing it. But I really was enjoying it. And I thought, the only reason I started was because I wanted to get a TV show. Okay. And so that's a way in Hollywood. They be like, the stand up, the comedians, they be getting TV shows. Yeah. And so I was like, I got a plan. I'm gonna go on and do this, and I'm gonna get me a show. And so I really thought, my career's going somewhere. Like I was at a place in my life where things were starting to happen, and then I got sick. And so I probably did maybe 4 projects in a year and a half because I really couldn't do anything. And they were like things for friends.
Yeah.
That I would like muster up enough energy and go, but I stopped, not being able to do stand up or any of those things at night, because at night is when it would really get bad. And so over that time, I just didn't know what to do. And I had a dream, right? Well, before I had this dream, I had what I call my come to Jesus moment in my bathroom.
Okay.
And I went into the bathroom and I was really in search of like seeing my soul. And the only way they say you can do that is through your eyes. And so I got in the mirror and I was just looking at myself for a very long time. And I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's very scary and uncomfortable to look at yourself in the eyes for a long time.
Especially if you're not in a good place mentally, I feel like that's the hardest.
And especially if you don't know yourself. And that's what I realized. And so I had what I call my last call out, my final call out to him. And I said, God, if you heal me, you can have me. And I won't try.
Bro! You're my best friend. Give me a kiss. I swear to God.
And
if you heal me,
you can have me. Jesus.
Yeah.
Look at you kind of in the corner. She like, amen.
And I meant it. I was at
That's
my last.
crazy.
It was my last try.
Yeah.
And I feel like that day when I left the bathroom, I left different. I was still not well, but something felt like it shifted inside of me.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, okay. A couple weeks later, I had a dream, and my dreams have always meant something to me, right?
You talk about that in your book.
Talk about that in my book.
And you talk about it from the beginning.
Megan was just talking about it yesterday.
I was reading it yesterday and telling B about how prophetic you have been since you were a child. And your mom was prophetic. She had the gift. And she told you you were going to live this life of having prophetic dreams and knowing things.
Yeah. And so when I had this dream, I saw myself on a show, but the screen was small. And I just remember waking up thinking, how was I on the show and I'm not auditioning and I'm not doing stand-up anymore? But I know what I saw, right?
It was the phone.
And so I prayed and I asked God to reveal that to me, because I know my dreams, they come true. They tell me things, And so in prayer, I heard him say, start doing videos. And I was like, nah, I ain't doing that.
That makes my body, when you can hear God's voice like that, sometimes I still struggle with that, not knowing, like the closer you are to him, the easier it is to hear him.
Right.
Like,
very true.
For you, it's like God said, I'm like, that's a beautiful thing to be
able
to hear that.
Well, what is that experience before you continue? What is that experience of knowing that you heard
God's
an instruction
voice.
From God? Like, it came from him. Because some people feel like you have to audibly, you know what I'm saying? People, I think the idea of like, how do you hear God? But you could tell me kind of what that
is different for me. Okay. Right. And I know that, which is also, I know what is my gift. Right?
Okay.
The first time I ever heard his voice, it sounded like thunder. And it was scary. I talk about that in the book. And it literally was loud. And it made my skin burn. And it shook my bed. Wow. And the first time I heard it was in North Carolina, after we had lived there for a while, and I had stopped dreaming. And had begun to be content with what I was doing. Okay. And said, you know what, this is my life. I ain't even going to think about dreaming no more.
Wow.
He woke me up, and it shook my bed, and the voice said, this is not the life I planned for you. And it scared me. And I was like, Lord, if this is you, I need you to show me a sign. Right? Because that was my first time hearing that. I'd had dreams my whole life. But I'd never heard this voice before. And now I hear whispers. Now I hear sometimes, and this started when my mother was sick. My mother had ALS. And so one of the things about ALS, depending on how it forms, eventually, because your vocal box, these are muscles. All your muscles go to sleep with ALS. You won't be able to talk anymore. So she got to a place where she couldn't speak. We had to read her lips, or she could maybe muster a whisper. And I would go and stay with her to help care for her. And her house was like ranch style, so in her bedroom is where she would be, and I would be in her office, which was on the other side of the house.
Okay.
And clear as day, I would hear my mama calling me. And I would go in there and I'd be like, Mama, you call me? She's like, girl, You know, she looking at me like,
Lord. Lord.
And I was like, I could have swore I heard you. But my mama was so connected, right? And so that's when I started to understand that not to scare you, he will give you a voice that is familiar.
Wow.
And so sometimes I hear the voice that sounds like my mother.
Wow.
Right? And so it's very gentle. My mother was a very soft-spoken woman.
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
so I hear a whisper. Sometimes I don't hear it. I feel it.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. But I know that everyone can't hear, but I can.
Okay.
Right? It's
Okay.
like I see things other people don't
Okay.
see.
Okay.
But I also can't control it.
Okay.
Right? Because that is the gift. It's not meant for me to use it. It's meant to serve me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so when it happens, I have to be obedient to it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I feel like
That's so crazy, man.
when I hear, or I think I hear God's voice sometime, it's like a voice that's not mine. And if it's telling me to do something that might be uncomfortable, that is not bad, I'm like, okay, I battle like, is that the enemy or is that God? And usually it's God if it's like not fear. For me, it's like a peace about it. Like, I'm like, okay, the enemy wouldn't tell me to do that, you know? So I try to
Challenge you to do something.
that's going to make me better, or
yeah.
that might be uncomfortable, something I need to do. Like, I'm like, the enemy wouldn't, that it got to be God.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's more of a peaceful feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes it's that gut feeling, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I always call the gut the gift under the tummy. Right?
yeah.
Because sometimes you'll feel it.
Yeah.
And if you don't make a move, like for me, if God tells me to do something, or if I have a dream about somebody and I don't share it, I get sick. I feel nauseous. Like I can't even move around. I have to lay down until I get it out.
Jesus.
Right? So there's a feeling that comes associated with
Yeah.
the assignment.
Yeah.
And so that's how I, decipher.
Yeah.
That's
How
part
you
of the gift.
how you deliver that, or how
Message.
you yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine I feeling that physical impact of that. I know that, like, when I was a kid, I always had vivid, not always, but I would have vivid dreams, like very specific, in color. And I would always tell my mom, since I was a little kid, and I would tell her, oh, I've dreamed about, and she would write it down. And she'd be like, okay, tell me more. And she would write it down. And she said there were a lot of times where I would dream something that she knew what it was. I had no clue what it was. I would just see it.
Wow.
And I was like, Mom, yeah, I was standing here and this person was standing there. And she would be like, was it in
made
black and white,
sense
or
to
was it
her.
in color? And she would, and it made sense to her. And that can be scary sometimes, not knowing how to, because you almost feel crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, and you talked about that in your book, where it was like you even had a pastor that you shared your gift with, and they rejected
Wow.
it.
Well, if you ever see anything about me and a man, I'm not going to reject it. So does God tell you about other people's future with... I just need to know, Miss Tab.
It do happen sometime now.
Okay, well, you just... if you see something about me and a man.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay, just text
I
me.
hit you on the text.
I'm going to be like, what she said?
I'll
Miss
dream
Tab
about
said.
it.
Dad said I got to move to L.A.
Right?
We might be out here on the beach.
Christ.
I got to get about that.
I love
No,
it.
Miss Tab talked about she might have to come today.
I know. Listen,
I said,
I be
no,
liking
I
it.
said,
I be
I
liking it,
you
Atlanta.
Move? You saying move or visit?
He said move.
I really like it.
I'm going to get on your damn nerves.
I know.
That's what I said. I was like, hi.
I do. I really like. We
bought
both
her
love
cookies.
it.
Yeah, I bought you some kale.
Me and my husband, we both. Every time we go, we be like, I really like this Atlanta.
Man.
Yeah. We'll see.
Well, if you come, I'm just letting you know.
I'm there.
Okay,
And
all right.
I will receive
We are
your visions.
Okay,
we
very
are
good.
always saying we need a mentor. We need a mentor. We need a mentor.
I said, I wish I had a mentor.
Mentor.
Yes. Come on over to the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Whew,
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, we'll be
Absolutely.
right on over there. So tell us about,
Let's get into relationships.
yeah, you and your husband have been married
Together 24,
24,
married 19.
19.
I knew that.
Next year is our 2025.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look
I'm
at
looking
that.
forward to it.
Crazy.
But you just kind of piggybacking off of what we just talked about with your gift, you talk about how that was not a struggle in your marriage, but your husband didn't see it.
Right.
And I feel like with traditional marriages, because from what we see, you guys have a very traditional type of marriage in the sense of how you treat each other, how you
Yeah.
respect each other.
And y'all, you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
From looking in, it's like they have their traditional
Yeah,
way. And,
it looks very-
opposed to this new generation. We so lost. Not we. I don't even claim that. Y'all. Okay?
I don't know what you mean by traditional.
In the
Okay.
In the sense of the way that you guys love each other, the way that respect each
loyalty,
other,
honor.
how you
I think just the opposite of
yeah.
this millennial BS.
Well, I guess it just feels very genuine.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like a lot of marriages, and we were talking a little bit about this upstairs, I feel like marriage, children have become accessories. It's like something to add to the look, but it's not the thing. It's not
Right.
real.
You don't
it's
really
just
want to
like,
be a wife.
you don't really want to be a
husband.
mom. You don't
wanna
really,
commit to
yeah.
the-
It's like,
Got
it
it.
just, but it looks good.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, I think my husband and I have been so blessed to have been together so long that there was no social media. Right.
That's a
There
good
Y'all
was
didn't have to go through none of that.
there was
Y'all already had
nobody
y'all
to post
foundation.
for.
Yep.
Come on.
There, you know,
that's a good point.
had it been, I don't know if we would have made it.
Wow.
Right? In our early ages, you know, we grew up in our relationship. We've been together
Wow.
since we were 19 years old,
Wow.
right? And so I think that if people could have seen some of the, listen, I think about 20-year-old Tab and Chance. Our arguments that we used to have, if I had had an outlet to post about, ain't no way in the world we'd have been together.
Really?
Wow.
Ain't no way.
And you think you would have done that?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because that's what 20-year-olds do.
Wow. Come on.
Right?
Man.
I'm grateful that we got to grow past that phase.
Wow.
And that we stuck together. But we did it privately.
Y'all had the immature moments privately,
Right.
not on a social
We might have
media.
had it with our friends. You know, a couple people that we let in.
Right.
But most of the things we had to deal with it alone.
Right.
We didn't have anywhere to broadcast.
And they don't have that option now. Now you
And
can
there was
just-
also nobody that we didn't know that could, you know, insert their opinion.
Come on.
Right? Because that's what happens with social media. People post and post
And they put
and
no
post
seeds and plant no opinions and
when
this
your
and that.
foundation isn't settled. Right? Our foundation is locked tight, so I can post and I'm
It's
all right.
crazy.
Man.
But we didn't have that distraction.
Wow.
So
I love that honesty. She's like, you lucky I didn't meet my husband last year because I would have been on the shade room, sweetie. We would have been on the shade room praying.
listen, it's 20-year-old Tab, 22,
Yeah.
23,
Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lord.
Yeah.
So what do
Listen.
you think was the thing that you, outside of it not having social media to have that outlet to air out your grievances? Because I feel like for me personally, and I talked about this in I don't know if we talked about it in a
it was a
previous episode, but for me, I came out not that long ago about having bipolar depression. I was diagnosed with bipolar depression back in early 2019. And I don't do the best job at communicating how I feel or what I'm feeling or when I'm feeling it. But social media, sometimes I can just say it and I don't have to respond to anybody. It's not a personal conversation. I can just say how I feel.
As
get
best
it out.
friends, I had that. I was like, well, why you telling Instagram? You're not telling me. She's like, I don't have to respond on Instagram.
And I don't have to
I don't have
consider
to have a
your
conversation
feelings.
or consider, you know.
Yeah, and
I
I
can just
say
vent.
it. I can just vent, and I feel like that is a very real thing. And I know that I have been, you know, my marriage, I've been married since I was 19, 20, and we did have social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there were plenty of times where I was venting on social media, and I know that it may seem little, but it does impact your relationship.
Yeah, it really does.
Whether it's friendships
It's
or
not little.
you know what I'm
It's-
saying?
It's very big.
I ain't never
Yeah.
had a real
Right.
man, so just the dudes I be talking to, like, I don't like him no more.
She gets on my nerves with that.
Listen, that's her truth.
It's been too
That's her-
weeks, he on my nerves.
Yeah, that's her truth.
But you know what I'm saying? I know that is impactful to relationships, putting that out there, because
Yeah.
it leaves so much room for assumptions and
anything. Or people to
Yeah.
come in and give their opinion. And
That's right.
Yeah,
You leave
it's
room
hard.
for people who don't belong.
Who
yeah,
don't belong.
right. And
Yeah.
it have nothing to do with your life or your relationship.
That's right.
Before we move on, we're going to take a break.
A quick break.
A quick little breaky. We have a surprise for y'all.
You guys, you know what it is. It is the KFS fam. We're giving you guys 20% off the BSimone Beauty site. 20% off everything excluding bundles.
Excluding the bundles, so don't get overzealous, okay? Go to BSimoneBeauty.com and use the code KFS20, all caps. That's K as in no, F as in 4, S as in sure, 20. KFS20, all caps, and get 20% off your B.Simone Beauty.
No, for sure.
No, for sure. 100%.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to ask you, because we had a conversation. We're going to get into this on a previous episode.
Uh-oh.
No, we gonna talk, because you guys, we respect Tab, and like, she is like our mentor in our mind.
Yeah.
We respect her opinion. We respect her outlook on life. So we want to ask this to her. Like, we had a conversation on a previous episode, and we asked about perception versus reality in a marriage. Okay. And what that looks like, being committed to the purpose or the person. So I want to know what you think is more important in a marriage. And does each one, and this is just a question, you guys, we still don't know. I honestly don't even know.
This is a question.
It's a question. I honestly don't even know. We talked about it earlier, what I think is more important. You know, perception sometimes gives you hope. Like, we're looking at this relationship and it looks perfect, or it looks like this. It's like, it gives me hope as a Black woman to see Black couples that are making it and perfect. But then, how important is the reality of what's actually going on behind the scenes in that relationship? And do you think both is important? Do you think one is more important than the other? And how do you guys live your life, your relationship?
So, perception, right, is important, right? Only because you are seeing what you want to have.
Got you.
Right? And if you think that that is true, you'll work hard towards that.
To get it
to
in
make
hope
that
of what is
your
possible.
reality.
Yes.
But the reality is,
Come on.
perception is just perception. Right? Reality
The reality is
things
perception.
change.
The
It's just
reality is the
perception.
truth.
Reality is the truth, and things are going to change according to the people.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
My reality is not your reality.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
What happens in my marriage is not a guarantee to happen in your marriage.
Got you.
You understand?
Okay.
You're not marrying my husband.
Okay.
You're marrying your husband.
Okay.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we live in a world where we are so built on comparing our lives with others that we forget about our own reality.
And what you want.
And
Who
what
you
do we
are.
want?
What, yeah.
What can I give?
Yeah.
What am I even mentally capable of giving to another person?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And do I know myself enough
Okay.
to allow somebody else to come in and get to know me and have a relationship that can stand?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I think that's just the issue, that we focus on somebody else's, relationship.
Okay.
And we perceive that to be something.
Okay.
Because, people only will show what they want you to know.
Right.
100%.
Right.
And that's what we have to remember.
We're not showing you everything.
Right.
now.
And everything ain't your business.
Right.
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 Okay.
Right.
Okay.
She's like,
And
just,
she just-
I'm just,
All right.
zoom in on that.
All right. Everything
Everything
is not your
ain't your
business.
business.
And I
Right.
think that was
Yeah.
part of the argument that a lot of people had, was regardless of what a leader in a community or in a culture does in their personal marriage, in their personal home, that's their business. And I think our question was,
To what extent?
does it define your character? If I'm one way at home, it would be like if we saw Miss Tab, who she is, just this warm hug, this embrace
And that
of
night
love.
she at the strip club.
or like we see, or there was a video
Old
of her.
And I'm talking about working there. And I found out Miss Tab was a
No,
stripper.
it's not even if she was a stripper. But what if we seen a video if she was mean to somebody,
Right.
cussing somebody out?
Right.
What would that do
to us?
to
Yeah.
us?
'Cause the
Because
way
we've
we-
never seen you like that. We
Right.
only know you to be this, and not that you're not human, but if it was like, no, like behind closed doors, this is not who she is.
Right.
What would that do? That
To
I know
us.
for me, that
would
would
crush you.
tear
It would
me
crush you.
up. And whose responsibility is that? Is that my responsibility for putting you on a pedestal? in the sense, you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
is it your responsibility to be consistent in the character that in your character? You know what I'm saying?
It's
I don't
both
know.
in the person's responsibility to walk in their truth. She
Yeah.
walks in her truth.
Right.
If humans that I'm a mess up, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm not always this. I'm letting y'all know that up front. I'm not
yes.
acting like I'm perfect behind closed doors.
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's a responsibility too when you are a leader and you do have that platform. You know,
is to show the
to walk in
humanity.
your the
yeah,
humanity.
I feel like the humanity
to
part.
walk in your truth and let people know I am not perfect. I am not.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta tell you all my flaws, but I'm letting you know, like, you know, I believe in this. This is what I gotta work on. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I think that's a responsibility of leaders also.
I think it's twofold. I think that, yes, walking in your truth, being, but I think it goes back to what you said. We live in this society, this world now where everything has to look away. It has to look as close to perfect as possible.
Right.
And so this idea of being vulnerable and expressing vulnerability, I don't think we have that anymore. I feel like our not totally, but you know, I feel like our culture, our society lacks empathy. It lacks vulnerability. It lacks compassion, and it's all about the way it looks. Like it has to look, like I said, as close to
perfect
perfection as possible, and that's not feasible. It's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not.
I think that the only reason that we feel a need for things to look a certain way is because we need something within.
Got you.
I don't care how anything looks.
Got you.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know who I am.
Yeah.
Right? If you were to ever see me outside of being this tab, know that something had to get me there.
Come on.
Right?
Come on.
Because I am still human.
For sure. She's
yeah.
she's basically saying, I will cuss a
Cuss
nigga
you
out. So if you ever see me
There's only a certain amount of things
She
that
said,
punching
just
one
know.
of these young little girls
Just
upside
know.
the head, you
Something
better know
has-
she pushed me there. And the Lord told me in my dream to do it.
I always tell people this. I've never shied
I
away
love
from
that.
it. There is not many things that can unsettle me.
Right.
You mess with my family
Yeah.
Come on.
That's it.
or my money.
Come on.
Because I take care of my family.
Family
my money.
with
my
my
money.
money. I know that's right.
Everything else don't really matter to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I think when we all know who we are, it doesn't matter
It doesn't matter.
what somebody else
It doesn't
does, right?
matter.
So the other thing is my intention is to lead with love.
Okay.
Right? I've been another person before that was not true to myself.
on,
Right?
come on.
But also I have given God my life. So I am walking a different walk intentionally.
Yeah.
Right?
Every day.
Every
Intent.
day.
Intent. Yeah.
And I am healing every day
day.
from the old tab.
Yeah.
And healing isn't permanent. Healing is a constant,
constant
journey.
journey.
Wow.
Because I can always be triggered.
Always,
Anybody
yep.
can be
That is
triggered.
crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that when people, you know, they say, you know, because I get it all the time, "Ooh, you know, Tab is fake. You can't nobody be that happy all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Because they be
'Cause
like,
they're
you
miserable.
too happy. And
Because
so,
they can't even
They can't
fathom.
fathom.
They
You so
can't-
miserable. You can't fathom
and that
somebody
it hurts
walking
my
in
heart
peace.
for
Yeah,
them.
for them.
Yes.
Because
For
I can
them.
only imagine the life that they're living if they
Jesus.
think that a smile equates to fakeness.
Come on.
Or that joy
Come on.
equates to fakeness,
Jesus.
right?
Or that it's not
Possible.
feasible.
And
it's not
right,
tangible.
exactly. It's not possible for their life, right? But what I often, and what I realize about what you said is like, if you were to see me completely different from what you envision and see me every day as, that means you have to ask yourself, what is it that I need inside the why I couldn't handle seeing her any other way?
Wow.
Right?
And that it goes back to that question.
Wow.
Two things I said when we were getting canceled.
Well,
for
they
the
didn't
last-
cancel.
Well, not, but they were trying.
They were trying, but God has the last word.
Listen,
They were trying.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
They were trying so hard to and maybe 3 weeks ago, I think it would have really bothered me
Yeah.
way more than it bothered me
Yeah.
last week. I think it probably, and 3 months ago, it probably would have broke me.
Yeah. Yeah.
A year ago, it would have destroyed me.
Yeah.
Like, completely destroyed me.
Yeah.
But where I'm at today, I was like, okay, yeah, I see how, people can, somebody told me, if you don't know them personally, don't take it personal. 100%. If you don't know them personally, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
And then the other part of that was trying to live this life of true empathy, even when that person has offended me or tried to hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because it
or they
comes
don't understand your point, and you're like, I'm so pure. I'm not
trying to
have no ill intent.
But I learned that I got to a place of maturity and growth, especially in my walk with God, because I started praying more for God to continue to transform me and not praying for him to fix other people.
That's right.
I'm like, let me see me. Like, let me see why that bothers me. Why does that trigger me? Why am I having such an adverse response to somebody I don't know? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, now, I will say I've never in my life fathomed to get on the internet and say something negative to somebody. I don't have it in me to do that ever.
Right.
I've never had, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But I have felt a way. I have been triggered. I have been offended. You know what I'm saying? But I've gotten to a place where it doesn't, I'm like, God, help me see me.
Yeah.
Like, let me see me. Let me transform me, fix me, search every nook and cranny of my heart and uproot anything that is not like
Change
you.
me.
Change me every day.
Yep.
And I don't know, how to.
And that goes back to finding yourself, though.
Yeah.
But I feel like, Tab, you said this a second ago about finding yourself. I feel like every time I find myself, I'm like, I know who I am.
And then it changes. Or it evolves.
Then I change. I'm like,
as you're supposed to, right? Every day, you're not who you were yesterday.
Yeah.
Because you grew from yesterday to
every
today.
time I find myself, I change.
Absolutely. We are going to forever be changing.
Okay.
Until we leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? That is what we're here to do.
Yeah.
We're here to change.
Yeah.
To get better.
Yeah.
To learn.
Yeah.
Right? There's things that, you knew 5 years ago that now
Total different perspective.
It's a whole different
things you
mindset.
liked 6 months ago, you don't even like it now.
Can I ask you a question? Do you feel like, because we just entered our 30s, we're 32, but we're newly kind of. Do you feel like when you get to that age of 30, I feel like all our friends, we talk about this. I'm like, 30,
baby, it's gonna make a little more sense.
I'm like, you just kind of know, and I obviously you choose that, you choose how you grow and your mentality involved. But I feel like at 30, I'm like, whoa. Like, I really see things
so different.
Clear. I kind of know who I am more. I've established boundaries. I don't accept certain things.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be around certain people.
That's
Go
amazing.
certain places. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
it gets better.
It gets better.
I mean, I always tell people I can't wait to get old.
Yeah,
right?
know.
I love
right,
old people.
Right.
Because they really don't care.
They don't.
Right. In my 30s, I still wasn't free.
Right. Okay.
And so I cared a lot about what people thought.
Okay.
In my, it was my last, 38, 39 is when I started discovering who I was.
Yeah.
And taking the layers off of the old Tab.
Yeah.
But my 40s have been amazing.
I can't wait.
Right? It is pure freedom for me. But anytime you can discover your true self, whether you're in your 20s or your 30s, it's such a blessing because life just changes, right? You just feel open to whatever comes your way, right? What I text you earlier, honey, I'm free.
I told Megan that.
I said, she don't even, just say that.
I said, put that on a t-shirt before I do it.
Seriously, you said freedom
right
always
here.
allows me to be prepared.
Yeah.
It's right here. I want to read the exact what she said because I sent her a clip. I said, just look at this. I don't want to, we don't ever bring anybody on this show like trying to stump you or, no. We let you know what we're going to talk about. Anything that's off limits, we don't talk about. I sent her something that we wanted to talk about, which was the perception versus reality. Sent her the little clip. And I said, I just wanted to prepare you. She said, oh, sweetie, I'm fine. Freedom allows me to always be ready. No worries. when you walking in your truth and you're free,
matter.
it don't matter what you
caught
ask
off
me.
guard.
Doesn't matter.
You can't be caught off guard.
Yeah.
You can't trip me up. You
Right.
Can't,
Yeah.
You
Right.
can't trigger me in any type of, I'm ready. I stay
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
And you talk a lot about that in your book too, about being prepared and doing the work in preparation to the things that God has called you to do, whether you know the timing of it
Absolutely.
or not.
Yeah.
And I feel like with our podcast, I really do feel like we are walking in a place that we have been preparing for, maybe not even knowing we were preparing
Since 12
for
years
it.
old.
Absolutely.
Since 12 years old.
We've
Your
known each other since we were
friendship
12.
Yeah.
prepared you for this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your journey prepared you for this.
Yeah, and we're here, and the feedback that we're getting is so overwhelming as far as how we're able to impact younger women, especially early 20s, teenagers, and even women our age that are like
that need to have these conversations.
have the real
and
conversations.
open up their minds.
Yeah,
And,
and it's a scary thing too. I would say.
I agree.
For me, especially, like for B, she kind of B has always been her since we were 12. She's been the same goofy. She's the sweetheart. Everybody loves her. She's so nice. She fit in with everybody because everybody loved her, and she was always funny and always made people laugh and always talented. She's been the same person, and she's been able to gain an audience and impact culture in her way, and it's phenomenal. And here I come as kind of like, I was behind the scenes just trying to serve because that's all I wanted to do. I knew that's my life's calling, just serve.
Yeah.
God has never told me to do anything but serve. Serve. Go there and serve. Go there and serve.
Yeah.
That's just what he calls me to do.
yeah.
And so coming into this light where I'm still serving in a different way, but serving in the forefront, it can be very scary, especially when you talk about God and talk about your relationship with God and talk, you know what I mean? Because I don't feel like that's something that we often talk about.
It's magnified in our generation. Yeah.
But when I see you do it with
so gracefully,
just unabashedly, just free in it,
yeah.
it gives me this like, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can
Absolutely.
be
and
you.
still be yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does that ever conflict? Because you do talk about God a lot, often, every day. I mean, I feel like every time I hear you, you say something about God. Being in this industry, how do you navigate through that? Or have you faced challenges with that? With being so public about your relationship with God,
Your
or how
spirituality, and still being human.
Right.
You know?
I have heard from people, especially early on when I started doing videos, and I'm always honest. And, I love God. You don't love God? What's wrong with you?
Right. I love God.
Right. But, people would say, girl, you ain't going to be able to work in Hollywood. You ain't going to be able to, people ain't going to want to book you or blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, those aren't the people I want to work with.
Right. They just not for me then.
But I also am never going to be ashamed. I just show up.
Yeah.
And I live my life out loud, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, every time you see me, you always see I'm talking about God or it's in a conversation.
Yeah.
So you already know who I am.
You know who I am.
I don't have to change. You know who you hiring, right? And
You know what comes with that.
Listen, I'm a trained actress. I can develop any character.
I know that's right.
But if you want tab, this is who you gonna get.
This is who, come on.
Yeah, that's just the bottom line.
I love that.
And
Wow.
There is no sacrifices being made. I'm only showing up as tab.
Wow.
Y'all, let me tell you something that this lady said at the 360 Man Conference.
Where are you going to talk about that?
I'm going to tell you. Tab said, they came to us with reality show after reality show.
Blew my mind.
After reality show, millions on the table. God told me no, and I had to go back and tell them, thank you, Oprah. We're going to pass on. What?
Oprah.
It's like, Jesus, are you saying no or are you saying not today?
Give it a minute. Are you saying no forever?
I'm like, did he say no in English or was it like maybe so in Spanish? Like, was it a different language? Are you sure he said no?
Did he say
Did he
so?
say maybe so or no?
Because I need to know.
It was very clear.
It was no.
It was no.
They had so many reality shows on the table, and we don't have to go in depth with that, but my point of saying that was that she moves when God tells her to move. She doesn't move with her flesh, and anything, the money's gonna come, the millions, the success is gonna come when you're walking in your purpose and chasing purpose.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Every time I do something without consulting him first,
It don't ever work out.
I get stung. Every time.
Jeez.
He be like, "Oh, go ahead. I'm
I'm gonna let you do it.
Listen, you gonna walk over there, but you gonna
You gonna come right back.
You gonna live running right.
You gonna come right back with crutches.
Jesus, man.
I'd rather live a life of obedience.
Good.
It's just better than sacrifice.
It's just better.
Yeah.
It's just better.
It is.
Yeah.
And can I just tap it really quick to you talked about not pressuring your children to, because I grew up in church. Like church.
Both of
Yeah.
our parents are
Like I remember sitting on the
PKs, both of our
steps,
parents are pastors.
sitting and watching my mom do midnight services
Yeah.
where they was praying till 2 a.m. at some lady's
Yeah.
house. I sat there and
Saw
I
it
grew
all.
up in church. 5 a.m. prayers and Wednesday Bible study, and then we got to clean the church on Thursdays. And I mean, my mom was a minister in church, so she did a lot of the grunt work, and our lives was all about church. Fast forward, I became an executive assistant to one of a big pastor in the country, and saw a lot of stuff.
In the church.
Yeah. Saw a lot of stuff, and it impacted me in a way that to this day, like me and Shekinah went to church for Easter, and we were like, this is hard for us. It's hard to be in here.
And
not because of them. It had nothing to do with the church.
Yeah.
It just the idea
Yeah.
of church. It was the idea of what I had been through in church. And when you said that, it resonated so strongly in me because God is presented in my home.
Yeah.
My children see me pray.
Yeah.
Yes.
My children see me speak to God.
Yeah.
My children hear me talk about God.
Absolutely.
You ain't never gonna have a conversation with Megan and God don't come up.
Right.
That's
Always.
ever.
That's just Megan.
That's just me.
Yeah.
I've always
In
been
general,
that way. So
yeah.
my children hear that. I talk to my children about, we talk, but I don't force church. I don't, you know what I mean? And you talked about not doing that with
Absolutely.
your family. So what's kind of your experience been, or what has your family's response been? Because you have a sound relationship, grounded relationship with God. So
I mean, I grew up in church, right? You from the South, you really grew up in
Yeah,
church, right?
yeah,
Either
church,
you grow up
yeah.
or you don't go at all.
Right.
And so for me, I just never liked the guilt that was associated if you didn't show up.
Yeah.
And I used to say, well, that just doesn't feel like that's what God wants us to feel.
Yeah.
What if somebody is sick and they can't come?
Yeah,
Why is it
yeah.
okay to have a sick and shut-in list, but you make somebody else feel bad about not
Come on.
showing up? It just never felt right. And my mother became a pastor later in her life. And one of the things she always told me was, she said, never get caught up in religion.
Yeah.
You get caught up in your relationship with God.
same thing my
right?
mom said.
Relationship.
And religion causes separation.
It does.
Right? Because then you got, y'all Presbyterian, y'all Methodist,
Yeah,
y'all
yep,
Catholic,
yep,
y'all,
yep.
Yep.
we are all God's
God's
children.
children. Yeah. It's about your
Period. That's
relationship
it.
with him.
Your relationship. Now, I love to go to church, right? If it feels right. I've been to churches and I've walked out.
I know that's right.
The same obedience that I live in my
I was like, get up out of here. They worshiping Lucifer.
Chaos.
I have
It's
walked
chaos.
in.
I gotta go.
And I have sat down and I said,
Oh.
Yeah. This
get
ain't. I know that's right.
You did one of
absolutely,
these?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta
didn't
go.
do that 'cause
You
they
said-
didn't even know what that meant. You can go on, when they don't even know, you're going to
gotta
walk
go.
out.
You go
Just
ahead and
go
walk.
and, go and get on out of there.
I know that's
man.
right.
But with the most powerful moment of my life and the closeness that I discovered with God wasn't in a church.
Oh my God, Miss Tab.
When my life changed, I was at home.
Come on.
In my
Looking in that
bathroom.
mirror. Finding
It's
yourself.
the walk I do
finding
every
him.
day.
Yes.
The church should be here.
It should be internal.
It should be with you.
Yeah, wherever you
Right?
go.
People should be able to see.
Church is what I pull up my
God
phone and
inside
see
of
Miss
us.
Tabitha talking about.
100%. 100%.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying, but we have to
Yeah.
reimagine
Yeah.
What it looks
what
like.
that looks like.
Right. Ministry is not just in the pulpit.
Thank you.
Right?
Man.
It is how we live.
Yeah, how you treat people.
Every
how
day.
you love
Treat
people.
people.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm the same. My children, they know God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they see their mama pray.
Yeah.
I pray over them.
Yep.
But I want them to also come to
To
him.
him. That
On their own
Themselves.
and have their relationship.
They have all the tools that they need.
Yep.
But I'm not going to force my child.
Yep.
Go. You
Go
walk
to
down
church.
and get
Yeah, go-
baptized.
Yep.
Oh, you walk up
Be
there
a
and get
usher.
prayer.
I was
I'm not
ushering
going to
every
do that.
Sunday.
Yep.
Because
Jesus.
just like anything else, when people would force you to go
Yeah.
to do anything, it's the last thing you want
It's
to
the
do.
last thing you want to
But
do.
when you discover him yourself,
On your own.
when your heart, when he
He gonna get
reaches
you.
down
Yep,
and grabs
yep.
you,
And
honey,
you're
you can't
obedient.
shake
You
it.
can't shake it.
He got you.
I'm the closest I've ever been to God now. And
Yeah.
I'm going to church, like you said, 4 times a week. I didn't know who God was then.
Yeah.
I
Because
didn't.
sometimes people are just going to the building.
You're,
Yeah.
and you're just doing
It just
the,
so happens to be named church.
Church. Yep.
But sometimes it's just the
It's
building.
just a building.
Yeah.
Right? That's why church can be in somebody's house. That's why, pastors be like, we having Bible study at my home.
I know that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And they start their own.
Yeah.
Church is wherever when
two or more gather.
Two or more gather.
There
That's
he
it.
is. That's
He's
all you
there.
need.
And that's it for me. But I want my children to really discover him.
Yeah.
But I make sure that they are prepared.
Yeah.
I teach them. But I want them to come into it on their own.
Like you
Yeah.
said, you give them the tools.
Absolutely.
And that was one thing my mom always said. She said, if there's one goal that I had in raising you is that you knew how to find God on your own and that you had your own relationship with him. Like my mom, it was, well, you live in this house, so we going to church, so we going to church. It was
Right.
that type of thing, especially when I was younger, but it was never forcing me to do anything.
Right,
Like she
right.
just lived her life consistently in front of me, her relationship with God, and it showed me how to have a relationship with God. And I feel like I want to do the same thing with my children because God loves us so much that he gives us a choice to choose him or not.
Absolutely.
And so why would I force
Yep.
something that's not even in his character to
Right.
force?
Right. God
God don't even force us.
At all.
He loves us so much that he says, I'm going to let you choose.
Yeah.
If you choose me, here's all the things that come with it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, here are all the things
Things
that
that
come
come
with
with
that.
it.
But it's your choice.
Yeah, it's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
choice. Yeah.
And so I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Because growing up in church, you feel that guilt of, I gotta go to church on Sundays, and I gotta
Yep,
like
yep.
we were at church for Easter, and I was like, sis, don't get. I said, listen, we're just here. We're just
we
visiting.
know our heart. Yeah.
Because because when you grow up in that, you feel like you've got to do stuff. You got to do the work.
It's the
you got to
routine.
do you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of just having a relationship with him, that's just that. That's
Yeah.
that relationship. And when you said, I didn't find God in church, I found him at my home. I literally identical. When my son was diagnosed with autism, that's when I knew God for me.
Yeah.
That's where I knew he was real for me.
Yeah.
I heard him for the first time. I felt him in a real way.
Yeah.
Like I knew that it was real for
Yeah.
me. Because I didn't have any other option at that point. I was at the
Yeah.
lowest I could ever be. And that's when I knew, like that's where my foundation started. Like really building, like I talk about that home, that sanctuary,
Internal.
that place
Yeah.
inside
Yeah.
myself
Inside of
where
yourself,
me and
that
God
peace.
dwell. Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
where I found that.
I love that.
I have a question for you, Tab. Yeah. So we asked this on a previous episode. Well, Megan asked it. Well, she didn't ask it. She said it. But I'm gonna ask.
What I say?
It wasn't a question. It was a statement. I
Like
want to
a
know what
non-trouble?
you think about it. No, this is a good one. A person being a good person to you means they're a good person to you. A person being a good person to everyone means they're a good person. What do you think about that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's that is somebody's character, right?
Okay.
A good person is a good person.
Okay. Okay. Across the board.
Right.
Okay.
However, a person is still a person
Right.
who can constantly change. Who can be
For good or
triggered
bad.
For
Yeah.
good or bad.
Okay.
Can be triggered by certain things.
Okay.
Certain people can bring the best out of people, and certain people can bring the worst out of people. Right.
Okay.
So but I don't think that we take it away from them. They can also be a good person in a bad season. Right?
What?
I'm like, we could go
hours.
I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
A good person could be in a bad season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys, we have a special announcement.
Really quickly before we go on with this episode, we got to tell y'all a little secret.
Just a tiny little secret.
Just a little secret.
You gonna tell him?
You tell him.
You tell
Don't
him.
look at me. I don't tell him.
Okay.
Nah, you do it.
No, you do it.
Okay. June 9th. We're going to be in Miami.
Boom.
I'm scared.
I am too. For sure.
We got this though. This is our first live show.
show.
We are so excited. We will be at the
Black Equity Conference
Yes, you guys. Y'all can get tickets
at
online.
blackequitycon.com. And you can get your tickets. And we're going to be there June 9th.
June 9th, doing our first live show on the for the Know For Sure podcast.
Yeah.
We'll be there. You guys can get tickets, a meet and greet, meet us, VIP. All of that is on the website. Make sure you check out the website. And we will see you in Miami June 9th.
Come see us.
Don't be mad if you don't live in Miami. Don't be mad if you can't make it. Because, baby, this is the first show
Of many.
We love you guys. Back to the show.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, thank you guys.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like,
I mean, that's the truth, right?
Wow.
And how dare we judge someone
Absolutely.
when we don't know their season?
we don't know their season.
What season you're in.
Right.
Because we don't have the spiritual intellect.
And we don't know your heart.
To
We
do
don't know your
that.
intent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I consider myself a good person
Okay.
because my intent is to be good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I consider my whole life I've always intentionally tried to be good.
Be a good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there are things I've done that I'm not proud of.
Come on.
There's seasons I've been in that
Come on.
I wish I could change,
Yep.
but I can't because
Yep.
that's my truth.
Yep.
But those are also the things that help make me a better person
Yes.
to get to the good
To
season.
get to the good part.
Right.
And those were choices that you made to get
Absolutely.
here. Yeah. To change and evolve.
Absolutely. It kind of goes back to, people like wanting you to go to church, right? 'Cause they're like, you need to go to church. I want my daughter, for example, she's 20.
Yeah.
I want her to go and be in the world, girl, do all of the
Beautiful
things.
and amazing.
Right?
She is gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
That is your
I mean,
twin.
That's my baby girl,
That
okay?
is your twin.
But I want her to make her mistakes. I
Yeah.
want her to
Live,
see
learn.
what the
Yep.
world is about.
Yep.
Have your seasons.
Have your seasons.
Because when God,
called you
when he
and
grabs
pulled
you,
up out of there.
that's how you know he's real.
Woo.
Because when he changes your heart,
You feel
when
it.
he changes
you know
your
it.
talk.
Yeah.
Listen, there was a time that couldn't nobody outcuss Tab.
You lying.
You won't go outcuss.
Let me see the video. Because
Give us a sample.
That's
Give us a
right there.
sample.
I'm like, okay, I'm only say one cuss word.
You couldn't.
Wow.
You won't gonna get the last word.
Wow.
You won't. You just weren't.
Come on.
Right.
Wow.
But I needed that season.
Yeah.
So that I could tell somebody, oh, I know God is real because
know.
he changed me.
Look,
That's right.
look, I'm not
I know
cussing you
he's
out
real.
right now.
Right?
I didn't just punch you, so I know God.
I know his God is real. You should know God real.
You should know God is real.
Because you would have got cussed out.
It's just the thing. It's a
Yeah.
way when he changed me.
Yeah.
I have a cousin that I remember. Listen, growing up, you had your group, right?
Yeah.
And my cousin, she was a couple years older than me, and she literally would. If you looked at her wrong,
Yep.
you're gonna have to fight.
Yeah.
She gonna cuss you out.
Yep.
Y'all
Yep.
gonna fight,
Yep.
and every time she saw you, you were gonna fight again.
Wow.
Again. Jesus. I would like, let it go.
I would be like, I said sorry.
Always, and it was no.
She said this on site every time I see
You
you.
beat my ass last time. You know I
She
beat you.
literally, there was not a sentence without a cuss word.
Wow.
She just had anger
Yeah.
and
yeah.
negativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's a pastor now.
Wow.
When
God.
she got saved
Jesus.
in her home,
Come
reading a book,
Come on. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
I remember I was living in California and I had moved back to me and my husband. We was dating at the time, but we had moved back to North Carolina. And she was my roadie. Like that's who. If somebody was messing with me, I'm calling her.
Right.
Right.
Like we
Went to her
pulling up.
house and I was like, "Girl, what's going on?" And she didn't sound the same. I was like, "You all right?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm all right." Her spirit was different.
It was calm.
It was-
A peace. Yeah.
Everything had began to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I remember me and my husband in the car on the way home was like, something wrong with her. What's going on with her? I was like, no. And over time, I would go and I would call her, check in. I'm like, you all
Yeah.
right? And then one day she told me, she was like, I gave my life to God.
Jesus.
And everybody was like all of our friends,
They was like,
family, people that knew her in the community, they was like, oh, God, it's real.
it got to be. If
Completely night and day.
wow.
That's beautiful.
So I want that. That's the type of pastor I want.
Right.
If you go, let me know you've been out in the world. Show me where he's
something.
Let me know you still.
I don't need the perfect person.
I don't need the perfect
You can't.
person.
There's nothing
I
that
can't relate to
perfection
that.
can do for me. Perfection can't do nothing
for me.
There's nothing it can teach.
Come on,
There's nothing it can give because it's already perfect.
man.
I can't learn nothing from it.
Man.
I need
is
to
so
see
good.
I need
where
that.
you once were.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I
Where
need
you
to see
once
that
were
he's
is
still
great.
working in you. That
Yeah.
he's still
Absolutely.
real. That
Yeah.
he can, like he can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? God hasn't never called us to be perfect.
Right.
Ever.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But it's about perfecting his will in us every day through processes
Trying. That's
right.
and trying.
That's right.
It's about trying.
It's about trying. You're never going to reach a
perfection.
destination of perfection.
Yeah.
But we're always, on that
Striving,
journey
yeah,
and
to be
striving
better,
to,
to be
yeah.
better.
So I love that. Like, yeah, I love that. I
We
love that.
love
I
you.
just,
And
well, I wanted to ask one more question. I know we got to go
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. We got to talk about
Yeah, we got,
her
yeah, we got to talk about Target
and her hair
and
line. Yeah.
Donna's recipe, and we
very
talked about
good.
the book, and we talked about the restaurant, which we got the food. I cannot wait to eat this food.
Thank y'all for that.
Oh,
Tell me
what?
the name one more time.
Kill my name.
Kale
my
my
name.
name. Right here
Yes.
in LA, y'all.
In
We
LA.
killing it. We're going to eat it. Yeah.
Kale my name. So I'm excited to try that. But I just wanted to, briefly touch on what's been happening in our country. We saw 10 elderly people that look like us, that look like our aunts and our uncles, and our brothers and sisters and cousins and whoever. We saw what happened in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then we see what happened in Texas at an elementary school, another school shooting, these are children.
Yeah.
And I was talking to them yesterday on our way from the airport, and I said, I just don't know how to feel, because when you have children, it impacts you in a way that I can't explain.
Yeah.
When you have black children and you see everything that happens, it impacts you in a way that, I can't explain. So it's like, for me, it's like, God, like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
What do you want us to do? Because it's not like I know, I know it's not catching him off guard. And so you trust God, because I trust him. But what do you say? What do you do in those situations?
Last night was a rough night, right? Last few weeks have been very rough. And I prayed for the families for the last few weeks. And I woke up this morning very angry. And it's hard, especially for people, because I do talk about God all the time, right? And believers or non-believers, it's still hard, right? This morning, my prayer was for the people in the government who can make a change,
Difference.
for them to feel pain, for them to feel anxiety, for them to have restless nights,
Yeah.
for them to cry out of nowhere,
Yeah.
for them not to be able to eat, for them to feel affected even though they were not.
They weren't.
That was my prayer. Because it seems as though in order for them to want something to change, they have to be directly affected.
Wow.
So my prayer is that they feel affected. And then after all of that, and change begins to happen, which is my prayer.
Yeah.
I pray that God has mercy on them.
Yeah.
However, the thing about me that I know that I'm very different when it comes to death, right? And I say this with the most sincerity and understanding that these are people's children. These were people's grandmothers and aunts and friends,
family,
mothers, right? No matter how tragic death is, there was a plan for it.
Okay.
I truly believe before we take form to come here, there's a conversation that is had. And we are shown our life. And we get the assignment. And we agree on it. And we say, he shows us this book or this vision of it. And he says to us, listen, this is going to be your life. This is not going to be easy.
Okay.
You know, I need you to do this. And you may get raped. You might have a child early. You may get molested. You know, you might get shot. All these things may happen. But you know what? Then you're going to find me here. And then this is going to be a good season. Wow. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. But I need you to do this. You may even have to lay your life down at this time so that
for the purpose.
For the purpose.
Jesus.
And we accept the assignment. And then he takes us and he places us into the womb of man. And then we come.
Wow.
That's why sometimes we have a moment where we're like, they call it deja vu. Because I believe we're seeing that a glimpse of what he showed us. For a moment, it feels so familiar because we've already seen it.
Wow.
And what you
so
said.
We accept the assignment before we even hear.
There's nothing more pure than children, but there's also nothing more powerful than children to wake us up. What you said was, your question was, what do you want us to do? Nothing can bring that emotion out of you other than a child.
Yeah.
That is what wakes the world up. That is what wakes us up. It's also what keeps us up. The pain that is attached to a child. But what I've learned is that although I love my children, they're not mine.
What did I tell you? My mom says that. My mom says that all the time. She said she used to have anxiety about me. And she would have to wake up and go in my room and look over me and make sure I was breathing. She said God told her one day, he told her, put her in a casket in her mind.
I love this story.
He said, put Megan in a casket. She's gone. She's dead. Can you still serve me? And he said, she don't belong to you. She belongs to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm glad my mom taught me that, because it helps me as my mom didn't do the whole, this is how you hold the bottle, and this is how you breastfeed, and this is the food you need to. She taught me real stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that keeps you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That stuff.
That's right.
And when she told me that, and I started to have my children, and I started to creep in their room, and I started to get anxiety if they went to school. Like I did this morning, like I did last night.
Absolutely.
Today is my children's last day of school.
Yeah.
And I felt that anxiety, like Jesus, you know, because I could feel, I'd never been through what those families have been through, but I could feel that in every ounce. I could feel the possibility of that. So I can only imagine the reality of it. Yeah. And I'm glad my mom taught me that, because it does place me back to what you're saying. They don't belong to you. They don't belong to you. They're on their own assignment. And you are just here to guide them through that assignment.
That's right.
You are here to assist them in this journey. But they don't belong to you.
No.
They belong to God. Like my children do not belong to me.
Wow.
And they are sent here to do their own
work.
Their own work.
Their own purpose.
You know, and we do the best we can. You pray over your children. You want the best for them. You know.
But they're not ours.
But they're not ours.
That's right.
I love your outlook on that.
So we have to find, and not in this moment, everybody will not be able to find peace.
Yeah.
but we have to find our understanding of why we are here, right? Those children yesterday will change the trajectory of where things are going.
Yeah.
Right? It wakes us up.
Yeah.
And it is unfortunate that the pain that the families will suffer.
Yeah.
Right? We all are suffering from it. It does not feel well.
Yeah.
But when you think about activism, activism only starts from pain.
Pain. Change only comes from pain.
It only starts from
crazy.
pain, right? Something that needs to change. There is no greater gift than a child.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it also, these children, their life now will be part of a movement.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's kind of going back to
Wow.
that the Emmett Till story. That's that there's a show that they're talking about. They highlight more of his mom, and there was a moment in the one of the episodes where she finds out that they discovered his body, and she doesn't cry. She starts collecting information immediately. Where did they find him? What time? Where was it at? Because she knew in that moment, this is bigger
than him passing.
I'm in pain, and she tells her mom. Her mom said, "You need to mourn." She said, "Well, I'll have time for that, but right now, I got to do the work,
The assignment.
the assignment."
And that was her
Wow.
assignment.
That was her assignment.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
was his assignment.
That's right.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not fair.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to kind of take that idea that life is gonna be fair, because it's not.
Yeah.
God promises us that
Life is going to be life.
life.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know who created life being fair.
Yeah.
Life is just life.
It's life.
And
I heard
it
that
can
life-
change
Like
Like that.
And we're only here for a small amount of
Temporary.
time, right? My daddy always say, we only get one life, but one is enough if we live it right,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it is.
It is.
And
Yeah.
so, I always encourage people, find out why you're here, right? And sometimes people are like, I don't know my purpose. Sometimes your life is just your purpose. You are a part of
Something.
a puzzle,
Yeah.
right? We're all part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Even if it's tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's tragic.
Yeah.
I feel for the families, and my heart breaks for them. But those children were gifts to them, but also to the world.
Wow.
As were the elderly people.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel fair,
Yeah.
right? That some people got to live their life.
Yeah.
But if we believe that they agreed to the assignment, then they got to live their life.
They got to live their life.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Tab, for that.
I needed that for sure.
Absolutely.
'Cause
Yeah.
I was tore up yesterday, man.
Yeah, I was so hurt
Tore
Yeah.
up.
all night. I didn't have words, and God just had to remind me. He said, listen, you know this, Tab.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter's 20, but my son is 10, right? He was the age of these children. And this morning, my husband and I both took him to school, and we kind of looked at each other, and we were very quiet.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with my son last night, and I had to just remind myself, he is not mine. He has his own assignment. I am just his guy.
I'm just his guy.
He gets to call me
That's deep.
mom,
Yeah.
and I was blessed to be the vessel that brought him through.
Yeah.
But he does not belong to me.
Doesn't belong.
Yeah.
He doesn't belong to
And
me.
it's like, as long as I'm doing my part, I'm covering them in
Yeah.
prayer. I'm
Yeah.
doing my best.
That's
I'm being
it.
intentional.
That's it.
You know, God will work
Yeah.
the rest out
Yeah.
the way He saw fit.
He intended.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
intended it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And death has a way of changing us,
Mm-hmm.
right? My mama died very young. She was 51.
Wow.
And it changed my life.
Wow.
And had she not passed away the way she did, when she did, I would have never written a book.
Wow.
I'd never be living this life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would never be as empathetic as I am.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be as patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be this woman
Yeah.
because it changed me.
Yeah.
And like you said, pain
Beautiful.
changes. I feel the same way about my son. When I got those, he has 2 incurable diagnoses. He's autistic and he has Fragile X syndrome. And when they tell you that there's no fixing your child, there's no fixing that. And I had to go through this process of nothing's wrong with him. Like you said, he agreed to the assignment.
Right.
Wow. He is who he is.
Wow.
But the blessing in that is God trusts you with it.
Yeah.
To be trusted with that. Yeah. Can you imagine what God thinks of you?
Man.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna start crying again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tab.
Absolutely.
And before we let you go, I want to talk about your Target line. We're going to shift a little bit to some positive energy, but I love your outlook on that. And I know that helped my best friend because she is a empath from head to toe.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I see things in the media and it affects me, but not to the level of where she feels it as if she was there. So I know those words helped her a little bit. You know, that outlook is beautiful.
Absolutely.
We're going to shift gears and get a little positive before we get out of here and
I
talk
know that
about
she's giving us so much time.
So much time.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't want to keep you too long. We just want to talk about your beautiful Target line that you have. She went to Target today.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up. We thought we were going to have it.
Right.
You bought us a
I did bring you some stuff, though.
We were so excited.
I bought you a couple pieces.
Talk about that line
I'm just
a little
excited.
bit.
I did it's a 4 collection partnership with Target.
Yeah.
It's never been done. It's the first time it's ever happened. So it started with apparel.
In the history of Target?
In the history of Target,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
Because I got the whole store, really.
What?
So it started, this is one of my pieces. I really wanted to spread love through clothing.
Yeah.
To feel bright and happy and loved,
free,
right?
yeah.
And it's summer.
Yeah.
And finally people are really back outside and they're traveling and they're doing things. And I just wanted people to be able to take a little piece of me with them. So I did dresses, I did shorts, and I made sure every dress had a pocket because that's how I live my life.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's your business.
I love
That's
a pocket.
Right.
I love a
I
pocket.
put Blackie on a t-shirt.
Blackie.
Right.
That's her dog.
Yeah,
It's
her
so
dog.
cute.
You know, that's my other child.
When she talks about Blackie,
It's so
it
funny.
cracks
It's so funny.
me up.
Yes, and so, but yeah, and then I have like beach bags and towels
Okay.
and purses and
You got cover-ups
Yeah.
and
cover-ups,
hats.
swimsuits, hats, everything.
So when does it launch?
June 11th.
June 11th,
June
y'all.
11th.
Put that on the
Yes.
calendar. I'm going to set an alarm.
I am too. I'm going to Target.
I
So
know.
it will be in stores.
It'll be in stores June 11th and online.
So is it exclusive certain stores or is it going to be?
There is about 1,200 stores that will have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much in almost
Every
Every
store.
Target.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's 1,400 Targets. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but
Oh my
it's in almost
gosh.
1,200 stores.
That
So
I'm
if it is
gonna
on
be there.
Target,
I'm gonna be there.
Yes,
Shop online.
I can't wait.
you. And then, you know, the next collections will come out. I'm doing home, I'm doing furniture, I'm doing office, I'm doing food, I'm doing entertainment.
That is
So, yeah,
major.
it'll be a fun year.
That is
manage
major.
all
Yeah, like
I put me first.
What?
Okay.
And a good
She's
schedule.
like, I take
she
breaks,
said,
sweetie.
I say no to Oprah.
I said,
Yeah, that's how.
that's how I manage.
Easy.
Sweet.
Easy. That's not hard. I say no.
I absolutely love Oprah, and I be
for
like,
sure.
listen, I would love to do
Other
Something.
things,
Yeah,
but just I
just-
can't do
I
that.
just can't do that.
Yeah,
Show,
I
yeah.
can't do a
And then
reality
the
show.
hair care line. 'Cause
Donna's
this hair,
recipe.
Donna's recipe.
Right. Donna's recipe is started because, you know, I was losing my hair in the back because of my
Okay.
neck injury.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to get something to grow it back. And when I was, you know, going vegan, I wanted to not just care about what I put in my body, but on my body.
Okay.
And so I created a product with my business partner to restore my hair and make it strong again. And because everybody know Donna, we call it Donna's recipe.
Yeah.
And so in this fall, actually, I am starting the shampoo, conditioner, leave-in.
Oh, I can't wait.
So we got more products coming.
I can't wait.
super
Yeah,
excited
I'm
about it.
excited about
I'm
that
trying to
because
decide
when I
if I'm
saw
gonna grow
that,
mine back out.
if you want to grow
A
it
little
out,
bit, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I love that short.
I know.
Listen, I be missing it. Donna was whispering to me right now. She was like, "Girl, that short hair look good, don't it, girl? Don't do it, girl. Don't do it. We can't. We doing things right now." But yeah, we can't. The tab time. You know, the kids they like, you know, Miss Tab with an afro. So.
Yeah, it's so
But
beautiful.
yeah.
that's
Thank you,
exciting.
Tab.
So you got the
y'all.
book, we got the restaurant,
And Megan's halfway done with
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
I'm
my
a-
cookbook comes out.
cookbook. I
Yeah.
can't wait for that.
I know. Yeah, it hadn't been. You know, people ain't. They
I'ma
don't
just
know, but
grab it to
comes this year
support.
too.
That comes this
No, I
year
don't.
too.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
And it's all vegan.
100%
100%
vegan. All plants. Yep.
I feel
absolutely.
so. Do you have some recipes in there that kids are gonna? Because I feel like it's hard for me to get
Get
my
her kids to
children
eat.
Yeah.
to eat new things. It's not even like healthy thing. It's just getting them to eat new stuff.
Well, I think you got to change your mindset, right? So with my son, I know he like pizza, so I'm still making pizza. I'm gonna just use vegan cheese.
Come on.
I know he love a hot dog. I'm gonna still make a hot dog, but I'm gonna use.
No, he
vegan
love
hot
chicken
dog.
nuggets. We gonna fry some cauliflower.
Right? And he loved it. He loved the little
Yep.
cup of cauliflower.
Yep.
But he also liked vegan chicken nuggets, you know,
Yeah.
certain things
Yeah.
like that. Spaghetti, quesadillas, things that I know that kids love.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly still vegan.
Right,
If the right one,
right.
simple.
Right.
Tacos, simple.
It's
Yeah.
just the knowledge. Get people to know.
I'm known in my family for making baked spaghetti. Everybody wants my baked spaghetti. So the other day I made it with Beyond
Meatballs. Oh, you ended up making it?
I did.
Yes.
And they did not. I didn't
They
tell
didn't even
anybody.
know.
I
Didn't
cooked.
even
I put some Beyond sausage meat in it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Mixed it up, seasoned it, and I made the spaghetti, and they were eating it. And I said, "Did y'all like it?" They were like, "This is the best one." Yeah.
See?
And I said, "Well, there was no real meat in that, y'all. Y'all know that, right?"
You're like, what?
And they were like, "What you mean?" I said it was
Yeah.
Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
They said, "Wow, they
Yeah.
didn't even know."
They didn't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just incorporate, kind of sneaking
Incorporate.
it
Sneak it
in
in
without
there.
telling
Do
them.
their favorites,
Yep.
but just use
Sneak
an
it in.
alternative.
Yeah.
That's smart.
And that comes out the end of this year,
It comes out in October.
October.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all make sure
I
y'all
better
look
see y'all
out.
at
Pre-orders will be,
Target.
it's really already available for pre-orders, but I just haven't.
Oh,
you know,
really? It is?
yeah.
So where can they find
I
it?
actually was going to announce it today, but respectfully, I didn't. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Wow.
Yes. So when where can they pre-order?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
And they can get the book almost everywhere.
Oh, they can get the book
Feeding
anywhere.
the
I grabbed the
soul,
last
honey.
one at Target.
Oh,
Did you?
Yeah. It was the last one. Not when I,
Yeah,
when I was
yeah.
back home. It was
Yeah.
they're flying off the shelf. That was the last one. I said,
Thank
I
you.
said,
That's
well, I got
so
my
dope.
book. So
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
That's
yeah,
so
that's
dope.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Okay, wait. Well, before we always end our episodes
Oh, yeah.
with what do we
One
know
question.
for sure, KNOW, and what are we saying no
No
to
to
for
for
sure.
Oh.
So what do you know for sure,
Like,
and what are you saying no,
No
to
to
for
for
sure?
sure.
Oh, okay. What
So
I-
after this episode, what do you know for
Yeah.
sure?
So after this episode,
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, what I know for sure. Oh, I really enjoyed you. Both. Right, I know
thanks,
for sure that your hearts are in the right place.
Thank
Thank
you.
And that you are walking in your purpose.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And what was the second question?
What are you saying no to for sure?
Like no.
Oh,
for sure.
what am I saying no to? Anything that does not serve me.
Well,
Come on. Wow.
Always and
Wow.
forevermore.
Wow.
Amen.
Amen.
And I'm gonna seal it with that.
Yeah,
Amen.
absolutely.
I
Thank
love
you
that.
so much. We
I
love you so
that.
much,
I love
and
y'all.
we're just blessed
We're
like
so
that.
happy that
yeah.
you came. We're filled with
Yeah.
with happiness and joy, and we are just so
just love you.
honored to have you here.
Truly
like when you
honored.
said yes, we felt like we made it.
Okay.
No, I
the
was
number one
like,
podcast
I
in the
feel
world.
grateful.
I was like,
I'm
man.
thankful for
We don't need
y'all.
nobody else. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all can still come. But
Yes.
we really felt honored that you said yes to us. That
We
means it was
appreciate
like
it.
we doing it right. We walking in the right direction. We got a good message, and we just gonna keep trucking and
That's
moving
right.
and one step at a time.
That's right.
So thank
Keep
you.
on
We
going.
love you.
much.
Thank you.
Listen,
Thank you.
even
Thank
through
you.
the cancel culture that
Right,
we have created.
right.
You got to remember this. The enemy don't mess with nobody who ain't got nothing to offer.
Well,
Well, all right. I'm about to eat this vegan chicken, and
y'all heard her, right?
that was
okay.
the beautiful.
And
Tabitha
very
Brown.
good.
We love you.
We
Thank
love
you.
you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Make sure
Thank
you guys
Yes.
go to Target.
Get the
June
book.
11th.
Please
Get the
do,
book
yes.
now.
Shall we end it
Oh,
the way
your
I
mic.
ended?
Oh,
Yeah.
I know it's y'all show, but since I'm here,
Please. Let's
y'all
do
go
it.
about y'all business, all right? Have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's.
Amen.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love
that
it.
on repeat every episode. We just have tabs cut.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Know For Sure podcast. Make sure you keep the conversation going and use our hashtag KnowForSurePod.
Yes, we want to see you guys share the hashtag KnowForSurePod on all social media platforms. We want to keep the conversation going.
Keep it going. Go to the website, KnowForSurePod.com, and follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram and Twitter, KnowForSurePod.